The best kind of videos that I've made are videos where I'm trying to teach myself new stuff and you get a chance to learn with me. And in this very video, I'm trying to teach myself some of the most profound stuff I've ever attempted. And if I manage to learn just a tiny sliver of what I'm trying to teach myself, this could be one of the most valuable videos I've ever made, in my humble opinion. Okay, so what's going on with the Marble Machine X right now then? During this summer, I thought long and hard about this, and I have identified 4 major issues holding me back from succeeding with the Marble Machine X. Issue number 1, I didn't make the design requirements less dumb. As I will show you in this video, this is causing major issues with the functionality of the Marble Machine X. Almost every persistent problem on the machine can be traced back to my dumb design requirements. This has been such a big learning experience for me, and by making this video, I hope that some of you get a chance to learn from my mistake. In a brilliant 3-part video series, Tim Dodd, the everyday astronaut, toured the SpaceX factory grounds with Elon Musk, and in the middle of the tour, Tim asked Elon why the grid fins no longer folded in. Elon replied by giving a 5-minute lecture about design processes that tells us exactly why the Marble Machine X is not working.
And remind me, are the grid fins, do they still fold in?
No.
No. Is that going to be permanently that way?
Yeah, so what I'm trying to have us all just implement rigorously is the sort of 5-step process. First, make your requirements less dumb. Your requirements are definitely dumb. Does not matter who gave them to you. It's particularly dangerous if a smart person gave you the requirements, because you might not question them enough.
Yeah, you might take it as like gospel, like yes. I have to do this thing.
Everyone's wrong, no matter who you are, everyone's wrong some of the time. So make your requirements less dumb. Then try very hard to delete the part or process. This is actually very important. If you're not occasionally adding things back in, you are not deleting enough. Only the 3rd step is simplify or optimize. The 3rd step, not the 1st step. The reason it's the 3rd step is because it's very common, it's possibly the most common error of a smart engineer is to optimize a thing that should not exist.
Right.
Okay. Right. And you say, well, why would people do that? Well, everyone's been trained in high school and college that you got to answer the question, convergent logic.
Yep.
So you can't tell the professor your question is dumb, that you'll get a bad grade. You have to answer the question.
Yep.
So everyone's basically, without knowing it, they got like mental straitjacket on. That is, they'll work on optimizing the thing that should simply not exist.
Right.
And finally, you get to step 4, which is accelerate cycle time. You're moving too slowly, go faster. But don't go faster until you have worked on the other 3 things first.
Gotcha.
Like if you're digging, your grave, don't dig it faster. Stop digging your grave. And then the final step is automate. And now I have personally made the mistake of going backwards on all 5 steps, multiple times, where literally I automated, accelerated, simplified, and then deleted. Like one example I've talked about before is like there were these like fiberglass mats on top of the Model 3 battery pack that were in between the floor pan and the battery. And it was at one point choking the battery pack production line, and I was like basically living on the battery pack production line, like trying to fix the line. And finally I said, what the hell are these mats for? And I asked the battery safety team, because I like, are these mats for, what are these mats for? They said, oh, these mats, I said, are they for fire protection or something? They said, no, they're for noise and vibration. So you don't get, and I said, but you're the battery department. Then I asked an NBA noise vibration harshness team, what's it for? They said fire safety. So literally, it was like being in a Dilbert cartoon, okay? So we just deleted them and just bypassed this $2 million robot cell. It was just a complete pile of nonsense.
Okay, so what actually makes the design requirements for the Marble Machine X dumb? I have put aesthetical requirements, meaning how cool something looks, at the same importance level as functional requirements. I underestimated the difficulty of the project so much that I thought I could afford to prioritize looks over function. This shows you how extremely naive I was going into this process. I underestimated the problem and I overestimated myself. Looks have to come second after the thing is actually working. Who would have thought? And yeah, I've been aware about these mistakes for quite some time. This is what I said about the exact same topic in a video from long ago. Today I've been contemplating giving up on the machine, and I also been contemplating how amazingly awesome the machine will be when I finish it. I'm fighting this fight, you know, between looks and mechanics. It's all this eternal war between the artist and the engineer. I'm playing both sides and I'm losing on both sides, basically. While the machine is made up of all these arms, the mechanics is really the foundation for everything else. If the marbles get stuck or if they fall out of the machine, nothing else really matters, like Metallica once said. I have made a demonstration here to show you exactly how these dumb design requirements result in failure after failure on the Marble Machine X. So the goal here is for the marbles to go from point A up here down to point B down here. On the table, we have two competing solutions. So here on the right side, we have the constrained solution where the marbles are going through this PMA tube. On the left side, we have the unconstrained solution where the marbles go in a group straight down, hopefully into the bucket. Let's see how well these designs are doing their job. So I'm going to start over here with a constrained path. We have two marbles in the bucket and oops, looks like the marbles got stuck there. Okay, that's not so good. Let's see the unconstrained path. Ah, all the marbles reached the goal. So, okay. Turns out this unconstrained path actually did a really good job. Who would have thought? Which one of these two solutions do you think I used for the Marble Machine X? Of course, this one, the constrained one. So why did I choose this solution since it doesn't seem to really work so great? Because it looks cool. So from the beginning of the project, I just wanted the marbles to go in one line, like a factory assembly line. And that was kind of a darling. So what do you expect? Do you want me to just kill my darling just because it doesn't work? No. This old trope, form from function. It's some kind of antiquated boomer design advice. I'm more into the millennial version, form and perhaps function. Yeah, let's take that one. And then let's accept donations from like 11,000 people who believes in my abilities and use the funding to put it into a form and perhaps function project. Yes, let's do that, Martin. Way to go. So this design that got stuck, we have it in the machine itself, right down here. So before the marbles enter this tube right here, they have to be collected and go into a single line. And the marbles has never got stuck ever in the history of the Marble Machine X here, until recently when I finished the Cyberbase, the marble throughput was increased. And guess what? The marbles got stuck. Who would have thought? Let me tell you about what happened just before the last live stream I made before going to Sweden over the summer. It was the very last day before my trip. The Cyberbase was ready, sun was shining, the floor was free from marbles, and I felt fully prepared for a live stream where I wanted to impress on you all how well the machine was doing. And normally before these live streams I was always late doing last minute fixes under huge stress, but not this day. I was ready like 1 hour before we were supposed to go live. I just had to shower and then crush it together with Hannes 2000. It felt great. But just before heading into the shower, I made like one final test to prepare the machine, and suddenly I heard the heartbreaking sound of marbles falling on the floor. I stopped the machine and the constrained marble path had flooded for the first time ever. At this time, I didn't panic. I cleaned up all the marbles from the floor, added a little bit of tape, and tested again. The marbles flooded again. Slightly more panicked, I repeated these tests and the marbles flooded like 3 more times, every time resulting in me crawling around like Gollum, picking marbles from the floor. So in the end, I got it right and the marbles seemed to stop flooding. Good, all was good. Now it was 20 minutes until the live stream was set to go live. I was a little bit stressed, but not too much. So I just needed to crank the machine one more time in preparation for the live stream. So I started to crank the machine and I saw all the marbles starting to go up in the first gear, and as in slow motion, I saw the marbles fill up the whole gear, and then I saw the PMA tube here explode, with marbles exploding out all over the floor as a result. So the lower gear moves faster than the upper gear. So when the marbles are pressing too hard on that pipe, they had nowhere to go and the pipe exploded. Perfect. Now it was 10 minutes until the live stream was to go live. The floor was filled with marbles and the transportation pipe was broken. So I taped the pipe with masking tape. I crawled around like Gollum yet again and got all the marbles up from the floor. 4 minutes before the live stream was going to go live, I went into the shower in full panic. 7 minutes later, we started the live stream, only 3 minutes late. And even though the machine hadn't been fully calibrated for timing at this time, the machine actually played pretty well, unedited, live mixed music. So here are some clips from that very live stream. So why did my fully prepared live stream turn into chaos and panic? Well, because I didn't make my design requirements less dumb. That's why. Because I prioritized looks over function. But wait, don't the marbles actually need to be constrained to fall into the magnet lift correctly? Yes, but that's exactly the type of wrong question Elon taught us to not answer, but instead question the validity of the question itself. The marbles only need to be constrained if I'm using this type of magnet lift. Okay, so why did I use this type of magnet lift? Anyone care to guess? Waiting? Yeah, because it looks cool. In fact, I think it looked so cool, so I accepted that with a magnetic lift system, I needed a complex demagnetizer as well, which in itself became an endless point of debugging and optimization. So if I had skipped the magnetic lift, not only could I have simplified the marble transport, I could also have skipped several complex moving parts. But I didn't do that because, hey, I thought it looked cool. Oh, I hurt my eye. Anyway, so when I started to hang out with engineers, they screamed at me to not use the magnet lift. I thought that engineers were generally narrow-minded, negative, and lacking imagination. I thought it was up to me, the Jesus of optimism and yes-can-do attitude, to save these lost souls from the dark paths of skepticism. And now, after 3 years of crawling like Gollum, the pain in my snowflake knees have finally made me go full circle. And now I think that the skepticism of a weathered engineer is actually a thing of beauty. It's a driving force and not a stop block. So I guess there's a reason why it's called form from function, and there's a reason why it's not called form and perhaps function. Who would have thought? Am I just going to scrap this machine? No. My plan is to finish the assembly of this machine, warts and all, and then record one song and make one music video with this machine, because I think the Marble Machine X deserves that, and I think that you and everyone invested in the Marble Machine X deserves that. But what about the world tour then? Has all this actually been a complete waste of time? Absolutely not. Cue optimistic music. So let's zoom out, shift our perspective and think about the machine that builds the machine. The machine that builds the machine is in better shape than ever. I would never have the skills I have today if I hadn't gone through this whole process. We built a Marble Machine X and it's nearly working perfectly. Nearly is not enough, but the fact that we got so close tells me that if we can make a new machine with 10x improvements, using what we have learned, we will have a machine that can go on world tour. So, for example, when SpaceX test flies a new design, they don't really care if the rocket crashes on impact, as long as they are getting the data they want.
I was talking to this guy, Marcus House. He has a SpaceX
I know
channel.
Marcus, yeah.
Yeah.
Love him.
Yeah, great guy. And I was asking him, why is SpaceX making like SN21 and 22, like, you know, rockets when they haven't even tested SN20? And his answer was really insightful. He's saying, it's because SpaceX thinks the machine that makes this machine, that the process of production is more nice.
The machine that builds the machine.
Exactly. Is more important than actually the product. So they're willing to scrap the product. They don't even have to ever use whatever they made for SN21, 22. It's just the learning that they've gotten from actually trying it is worth it.
So how can we use what we have learned and make something beautiful out of this new knowledge? The answer is Marble Machine X T. T standing for touring version, and that will be the 3rd generation Marble Machine. And the MMX T will be brutally simplified, both design-wise and process-wise. And you can read my early thoughts on these simplifications on the Wintergatan.net blog. I can't wait to get another chance. I can't wait to knock this one out of the park. Don't underestimate the man who overestimates himself. 3rd time's the charm, everyone. So the obvious solution to issue number 1 is starting over with Marble Machine XT. So far, we've looked at the first of the 4 major issues holding me back from succeeding with the machine. Before moving on to issue 2, 3 and 4, I would like to make an update regarding the crowdfunding project for the Marble Machine X. The Marble Machine X is from today officially fully funded. The MMX Crowdfunding Campaign is a complete success. You did it. I would like to meet each and every one of you personally and say thank you face to face in the real world. In case the Wintergatan World Tour ever happens, we are offering Marble Machine X contributors a special VIP +1 ticket. So each VIP +1 ticket would grant you entry to a Wintergatan concert for you plus a friend, meet up with me and other MMX contributors. You also get the chance to meet the Marble Machine up close for you and a friend so you can inspect what you have supported. On Wintergatan.net, you can read about the different groups that are eligible for these VIP +1 tickets. If you belong to any of these groups, please register your VIP +1 ticket on Wintergatan.net. I have to say it feels kind of awkward to give out a reward that might never become real. But on the other hand, by now I think that we've reached a common understanding about the uncertainty of this project. The risk factor is part of what makes it great. The Marble Machine X is right up there with Star Citizen at this stage. So if the World Tour happens, I want all MMX contributors to be able to visit the concerts not as guests, but as VIP members of the team that made it happen. Hang on here, Martin, we're not really with you. How can the Marble Machine X crowdfunding project be completed before the machine itself is actually finished? Thanks to your support, I've reached a point where I have everything I need to finish this project. With your support, I bought materials and music instruments for the Marble Machine X, and now I have all the parts I need to finish the Marble Machine. With your support, I've been able to collaborate with Olivier from ID Acoustics to build my dream music studio, and the music studio is now completed. With your support, I have built my dream over-the-top workshop. In this workshop, I have all the tools, machinery, and organization I need to finish the Marble Machine X. And on the workbench right here, I'm working on a marble demonstration for later in this video. let's do a sneak peek. Strange! With your support, I've even built an outdoor gym so these snowflake arms don't melt into water. So I'm actually transferring your funds directly into muscle mass, into the very biceps that are actually building the Marble Machine X. Let's check this epic gym out. So yeah, here it is, and you can see the progress is absolutely brutal. I've already started with like these extra things on the side here. Let's see what's the weight of these. 1.25 kilo, one on each side, mind you. So we're like already gone from like 20 kilo to like 22 and a half. So yeah, progress is real. Here's my chin bar, and yeah, from snowflake to flaming fire, yo! With your support, I could move to a house on the French countryside where the sun is always shining. We have grapes and olives. So I could build my studios here, right in the middle of nowhere, in the nature I love. With your support, I made an over-the-top video studio. I have lights and cameras, and with this equipment, I've made over 200 YouTube videos. With your support, you have given me an abundant amount of the most scarce resource we have, time. What a rare gift for someone to be able to accept. Thanks to your support, I've been able to build a team of colleagues that means the world to me. You have given me the perfect conditions. It's now up to me to finally execute. So wouldn't more money make it easier for me to execute? It did make it easier until now. But today, when I can't really find efficient ways to utilize the money to speed up this process, I can't keep accepting it with good conscience. If you end your financial support today, I want you to know that the Marble Machine X project will not suffer. Martin, you still don't get it, do you? We want to continue no matter what. We actually don't really care about all these snowflake ramblings of yours. We want nothing back. Shut up and take my money. I know you're out there, and I appreciate the hell out of you. You're more than welcome to continue to support Wintergatan, but I want to be clear that what you would be supporting is changing. From the 1st of October 2021, your support would be for all Wintergatan work in general, carte blanche. The support would not be earmarked for the Marble Machine X or for making YouTube videos. When I'm building and making videos at the same time, I'm constantly multitasking. Multitasking makes us less efficient and more prone to errors, and this leads us directly to issue number 2. I have been working on too many non-essential things, so to improve, I need to work on fewer essential things. In the book Essentialism, the disciplined pursuit of less, Greg McHugh argues for the importance of finding out what is actually essential and then eliminate everything else. A non-essentialist, he writes, thinks almost everything is essential and views opportunities as basically equal. An essentialist, on the other hand, thinks almost everything is non-essential and distinguishes the vital few from the trivial many. The difference between the way of the essentialist and the way of the non-essentialist can be seen in the figure opposite. In both images, the same amount of effort is exerted. In the image on the left, the energy is divided into many different activities. The result is that we have the unfulfilling experience of making a millimeter of progress in a million directions. Kind of relatable. In the image on the right, the energy is given to fewer activities. The result is that by investing in fewer things, we have the satisfying experience of making significant progress in the things that matter most. The way of the essentialist rejects the idea that we can fit it all in. Instead, it requires us to grapple with real trade-offs and make tough decisions. In other words, essentialism is a disciplined, systematic approach for determining where our highest point of contribution lies, then making execution of those things almost effortless. In chapter 11, Greg writes about the power of a graceful no. Have you ever felt a tension between what you felt was right and what someone was pressuring you to do? Have you ever felt a conflict between your internal conviction and an external action? Have you ever said yes when you meant no? I have seen courage as key to the process of elimination. Without courage, the disciplined pursuit of less is just lip service. We have good reasons to fear saying no, yet as hard as it can be to say no to someone, failing to do so can cause us to miss out on something far more important. Okay, how does this relate to my situation and to the Marble Machine X? Well, I've been spending my energy in a million directions. Documenting my work to make YouTube videos and live streams has been essential for this process until now. To make progress from here, I have to grapple with real trade-offs and make tough decisions. And going forward, I need to deem most YouTube videos as being non-essential and only make a few really essential videos. Also, the work that remains on the machine now is tedious and repetitive. I have nothing new to share with you. The Wintergatan videos have already become tediously repetitive. I don't want to become a 40-season soap opera where me and Wilson keeps dealing with our relationship issues season after season. Anyone can talk about the importance of focusing on the things that matter most, and many people do, but to see people who dare to live it is rare. I strive to become one of those people. The solution to issue number 2 is to practice essentialism. Issue number 3. I have been doing a lot shallow work. To improve, I need to do deep work. If essentialism can teach me what to work on, the question about how to work on the essential things still remains. Everything beautiful I've ever created came from long periods of uninterrupted concentration. It came from working alone in an enclosed space out of view from the outside world. Since my creations became popular, my way of working has changed. I've been working in public, multitasking on too many projects, and my productivity has gone down. In Essentialism, Greg McKeown calls this the paradox of success. Phase 1. When we really have clarity of purpose, it enables us to succeed at our endeavor. Phase 2. When we have success, we are presented with increased options and opportunities. Phase 3. When we have increased options and opportunities, which is actually code for demands upon our time and energies, it leads to diffused efforts. We get spread thinner and thinner. Phase 4. We become distracted from what would otherwise be our highest level of contribution. The effect of our success has been to undermine the clarity that led to our success in the first place. And since I fell into the paradox of success, I've released 0 new songs on Spotify. I built 0 functional marble machines. For the past 3 years, I've worked harder than I've ever worked. I've been busier than ever, and yet I've not been productive. The work I've done for the past 3 years is what Cal Newport calls shallow work. In his book Deep Work, Rules for Success in a Distracted World, Cal Newport defines shallow work as non-cognitively demanding, logistical-style tasks often performed while distracted. These efforts tend to not create much new value in the world and are easy to replicate. Cal then goes on to define the alternative deep work, professional activities performed in a state of distraction-free concentration that push your cognitive capabilities to their limits. These efforts create new value, improve your skill, and are hard to replicate. To exemplify the value of deep work, Cal tells a story about Carl Jung, who in 1921 created large waves in the field of psychology. Jung was famous and busy, but he wasn't satisfied with business alone, so he built a tower out of stone in the woods to promote deep work in his professional life. The resulting Bollingen Tower has become a legendary symbol for concentration, and Jung later went on to become one of the most influential thinkers in history. I already have a stone tower in the forest. In fact, I'm sitting in it right now, but what good is a stone tower in the woods if I squander my time doing shallow work. As Neil Stephenson, the cyberpunk author, puts it, if I organize my life in such a way that I get lots of long, consecutive, uninterrupted time chunks, I can write novels. If I instead get interrupted a lot, what replaces it? Instead of a novel that will be around for a long time, there's a bunch of email messages that I've sent out to individual persons. Kind of relatable. Why do I fall into shallow work so easily? According to Cal, one of the many answers is that in our current hyperactive internet culture, many of us are tending toward increasingly visible business because we lack a better way to demonstrate our value. Business as a proxy for productivity. In the absence of clear indicators of what it means to be productive and valuable in their jobs, many knowledge workers turn back toward an industrial indicator of productivity, doing lots of stuff in a visible manner. This explains why I always retort to making videos despite having said several times that I would make fewer videos. It feels like I'm being more productive when I show you in a visible way what I'm working on. But fate loves irony. The more I focus on showing you what I'm working on, the more I do shallow work and the less I get done on the machine. Inspired by deep work and time blocking, I made a schedule for my autumn that looks like this. Instead of doing unorganized shallow work 12 hours per day, I'm going to do organized work 8 hours per day and leave time for exercise and rest. When I built the first machine, I spent hours cutting plywood gears manually by hand on the bandsaw. One slip in concentration could ruin several days of work, and I remember being completely happy standing by the bandsaw, deeply focused those days. The best moments usually occur when a person's body or mind is stretched to its limits in a voluntary effort to accomplish something difficult and worthwhile. Professor Csikszentmihalyi calls this mental state flow. Deep work is an activity well suited to generate a flow state. Flow generates happiness. The act of going deep orders the consciousness in a way that makes life worthwhile. Deep work is a proven way to deep satisfaction. Okay, so this is a picture of my brain during the past year, and this is the state I'm trying to enable by removing what is non-essential and going deep. Solution to issue number 3 for me is to practice deep work. Issue number 4 that has held me back from succeeding with the Marvin X is that I haven't been able to delegate to a team that can execute. Most importantly, I'm not talking about my current team here. I'm talking about a potential larger extended team that I should have built. It turns out hiring and managing people is a full-time job in itself, and it also turns out that I am really bad at it. Navigating social webs of expectation takes me out of deep work. I could perhaps improve a little bit, but not enough. So, first solution is that I'm hiring a Wintergatan COO, Chief Operating Officer, full-time. If you go to wintergatan.net, you can find a job listing there. In short, I'm looking for someone who can act as my right hand and together with me, make Wintergatan 100 times more efficient. Your exact role would be tailored to you, but one of the most important aspects is that you see the cultural matrix of our world and feel the macro currents of how value propagates in our digital era. We are transitioning from Web 2.0 to Web 3.0, and I'm looking for a partner who sees this big picture and have ideas about how to operate Wintergatan in this exciting future. If you are interested in working with me, please read the job listing and reach out to us. Thank you. The second idea is to form some kind of decentralized autonomous organization with a governance token. I think this could be extremely suitable for the MMXT project. A DAO would create a new way of collaborating where participants get to share the value created. So the solution for issue number 4 is to first hire a COO and then later potentially also creating a DAO. This is my vision. This is the directional progress I want to pursue. Every step I can take in this direction will be a great improvement. Okay, so what are my near-term plans? The very next project for me is that I'm going to finish a very special project that is inside this box. I've been working on a secret project in the background for the last 2 years. I wanted to keep it behind the scenes because I wasn't sure how it would pan out, but it's nearing completion now. And don't get me wrong, I'm not starting a new project, I'm finishing a project that was started 2 years ago. I have collaborated on this project with one of the best mechanical engineers there is, Florian from the Effortless YouTube channel. Florian has made the prototype inside this box, and Florian's execution on this project have been over the top amazing, crushing all my expectations. But I was kind of naive to start this project alongside the Marble Machine X. But if we succeed, I'm sure that you all are going to love it and understand why I went for it. It's going to be a project that you will be able to interact with yourself, and yeah, can't wait to show you this.
I mean, I'll say that I also have kind of a bit of a hacker mindset. You know, I try to find the vulnerabilities, I try to find the cracks, I try to take a route which no one expects and is kind of hidden. Oftentimes you have a problem and it looks like there's some sort of impossibility result. Like you can't do something. And like the way that you escape impossibility results is kind of by redefining the problem or redefining the assumptions. You really don't want to take for granted things that other people took for granted, and basically relax the problem in very subtle ways where suddenly you open up a design space. And so, yeah, this is something that I like doing, is kind of taking something where people seem stuck. You know, they're no longer making progress. They thought about it for a long time, and they believe it's impossible. And then kind of coming in with fresh eyes and saying, and a new perspective, and saying, actually, if you tweak your viewpoint just a little bit, there is a way around it.
By relaxing the problem in very subtle ways and by shifting my perspective, I now see how I have been tying myself down to the ground with a million tiny ropes like Gulliver the Giant. I have tied myself down with dumb design requirements, non-essential commitments, and shallow multitasking. And I have stayed there on the ground for too long, lying in my comfort zone of busyness. It's time for me to stop paying only lip service to these ideas. It's time for me to stand up, shatter the non-essential bonds, and go towards my long-term goals. Thank you for watching.